Final score from Bryant-Denny Stadium, 24-0 Alabama. I don't know what the spread was. I think it was somewhere right around that. So those people who do these things, they know their job pretty well. But the frustrations by the Bulldog offensively, you have to say, yes, the defense took a couple blows early. Alabama came out and played like a number one team was supposed to in the first two series. After that, the Bulldog defense settled in. But the Bulldogs weren't just shut down tonight. They were shut out, Steve, quite literally and figuratively.
It's true, David, and the slow start by the defense, a little bit of a surprise. And yes, Alabama has been very solid on opening drive throughout the year, but you felt like the state would make some adjustments, made it a little bit too late. It just seemed like the Bulldog defense was just simply 2 drives late showing up because they could play with this group. We thought that in the pregame that State's defense would keep them in the ballgame. We didn't think they'd get down 14-0, and then really on the first 2 drives of the ball game, but then things kind of settled down. It looked like State was going to get a big turnover there. That didn't happen. State does win a turnover battle, and if you had been told at the beginning of the game, David, if you're going to hold Alabama to basically under 300 yards and win a turnover battle, you'd walk away here tonight thinking you'd won the ball game.
But I haven't let myself look at the stat. This is the first time tonight I'm going to check it out because I know it's going to make me mad. Yes, 0 penalties, 0 yards for the home team. Okay, we've said that. No further comment necessary on that. State, by the way, penalized 7 times for 50 yards. One of those penalties, in fact, you chose to shoot here in the end zone, particularly because of one of those calls right before halftime.
The block in the back on the Collin Hill touchdown, I have seen the replay for a while. I wanted to reserve judgment, so I'd seen the replay. Thankfully, one of our Mississippi Golden Triangle videographers showed me who happened to be shooting the goal line. The field judge looking directly at the play. The guy not touched on the play. Derek Thomas throws his hand up, throws the flag, anticipating the call, cost Mississippi State a touchdown. If you go in at half 14-7, David, it might be a different ball game. But all due respect to Alabama, one penalty didn't determine this ball game. That would have helped State momentum-wise. But in the end, Alabama's the better ball team. They deserve to win the football game. But sadly, the same official 2 years in a row gives Alabama a touchdown last year, prevents a Mississippi State touchdown this year. The league has to do something about that.
And I understand a little unhappiness in the press box by SEC officials as well. By the way, talking about a call not changing the game, the fumble or non-fumble on the first series, we asked Coach Moorhead directly about it, and we talked to the people. In fact, I checked with state administrators. They said that the call was made, that the knee was down, so the play's dead, much like Auburn. And then Coach Moorhead said that he checked with the crew in the coaching box, and they said, no, don't challenge because the play was over and down. He was down. No sense in asking for it. And frankly, the Bulldogs didn't seem too upset about it after they, got on that. So let's knock that one out of there right there. The game should change in the first series. I know a lot of unhappiness on our message board. God knows a lot of unhappiness on the message boards tonight. And by the way, yes, I was wrong. On the flea flicker, there was a receiver open down the middle. We asked Coach Moorhead and Nick Fitzgerald about it. Moorhead said he dropped his eyes on the play, and Fitzgerald admitted, yes, he did that and didn't realize that he could not see Thomas breaking through, so he dropped his eyes. Then when he realized it was too late. So missed opportunities there. Now, would they have changed the game entirely? No. Alabama was playing that much better when they had to. What did change the game, at least in the margin, a hit by Cam Dantzler on a sack by Jonathan Abram, and all of a sudden Tua goes out of the game. So now there's probably some unhappy Tide fans here.
Yeah, that's true, David, and that's just guys playing hard. I mean, I actually have the shot of the hit on the play. It's a clean play. I know there'll be Alabama people that'll say otherwise, but especially if he's injured for any stretch of time. They played at Citadel next weekend. They could probably win that ball game with you playing quarterback, David. But all that
I've lost about 6 steps, and I never had a first step to go.
Well, I think you could still hand it off. Yeah. But all of that said, Bulldog defense played well. Bulldog offense did not. Some of that's Alabama. Some of it's Mississippi State. There were some reads that were missed. There were some drops that were made. There were a couple times protection was there. The throw was there. The catch wasn't there. And against a team like Alabama, you simply can't do that. A team that's this good, you can't go out there and turn a 3rd and 2 into a 3rd and 7 because you've got a pre-snap penalty. You can't go for it on 3rd and 3 and then snap the ball prematurely on the clap cadence. And Nick even said that's been something they've struggled with in recent weeks. We've all seen it. So State did a lot of the things that get you beat. They did a lot of things to help you win the football game, just didn't do enough of them.
Well, you also can't follow up that controversial call that negated one touchdown by getting a delay of game penalty when you throw probably the best pass of your evening, which was a call for a touchdown, but it's no good because you got it off too late. I think because they were still convinced of what went wrong on that play, they let it get in their heads, lost track of the play clock. And things like that happen here when you're playing, but you'd think the Bulldogs, being veteran as they are, would have been ready for some of this. They let it get to them. Even the defense got let the first couple of series. And let's give Alabama credit. They may not have a Heisman-caliber running back this year. They all three ran very well, and I love that Jacobs kid. But they have a Heisman Trophy quarterback, runner, thrower. The play that stands out the most to me, it was a positive play, not a huge play. Jeff Simmons had him dead to rights in the backfield, and he doesn't run away. He just kind of shifts a little bit and dodges it. That's a magical play almost, a guy who's really good. You just can't question how good they are when they want to be good on offense, and yet they were held to about 60% of their offensive total.
It's true, David. And, yeah, and Tua is a special player, and his pocket presence is probably unsurpassed on this level right now. But, to kind of get back to that, the delay of the game, it was the right call. We're sitting there.
It was the right call.
Red Hobart and I both are just sitting there expecting them to call it, and then there's a delay and then the flag was already out. And I understand conspiracy theorists of the world need to reunite here, but Joe Moorhead was as animated after that penalty and that block in the back as I have seen. It's been 10 games, David. That went on for 3 snaps. Mm-hmm. And Joe, even after they called the timeout, Joe was continuing to chew on the field judge. He was still some 20 yards down the field. The linesman to our side, Joe is asking for an explanation, would not get it, was essentially waved off by the officials. I asked Joe in the postgame what, if any, explanation he got. He said he was given an explanation but did not want to share it with us and wanted to go back and watch the film. And you can't blame a coach for not wanting to make any ill-advised comments about officiating. But the bottom line is Alabama wins again 11 straight years against Mississippi State. I don't think this Mississippi State team is capable of beating Alabama unless they play a near-perfect ball game. They were far from it tonight.
And you also talk about animation. He was really animated on that last series, not just because the dog stopped, but he tried twice to get a timeout call in there. And finally, the second time, one of the back judges, oh, yeah, okay, I'll give you your timeout, because they were trying to get some substitutions in. The refs wanted this game over with, apparently, and they were not going to recognize those timeouts. So a lot of reasons for the coach to get frustrated. But in the postgame, he was level-headed. He kept a poise about it. He even complimented some of the throws Nick Fitzgerald made, talked about some of the positives of the game. Not a lot, but some. And basically, the sight's already been set forward. Now the Bulldogs come back home. They play Arkansas 11 o'clock this coming week. They still have 2 games left. Interesting results today. I don't know what the final is yet on Tennessee, Kentucky, but that could certainly shake up the bowl pecking order at this point. A lot of bowl scouts here today, but right now Mississippi State's got to set its sights on finishing SEC season strong. Then they'll worry about the bowl after that.
And, David, let's go ahead and send a message to our fans. We've spoken to players. They need you to be here next Saturday in Starkville, Mississippi. It is the senior night for some unbelievable seniors. John Abram, Nick Fitzgerald, some guys that have meant a lot to this program, Montez Sweat. Their last game ever in Davis Sweat. I understand it's 11 a.m. kick. I understand Arkansas is it's probably staring 2-10 in the face. I get it. But these players deserve your attendance and deserve your support. So, Bulldog fans, buy tickets, make arrangements to be there, come be with us, and support this team in hopes of them getting one more victory before they head to you-know-where on Thanksgiving.
And, of course, you mentioned the seniors and maybe a junior or two that maybe the last time we see them, I'm sure we'll be asking Jeffrey Simmons and others what they're thinking about this week. And it's an unfair question whether they'll go through senior day or not, but it'll still have to be asked. But we'll take care of this as the week goes on. I know Robbie Falk is working on a story right now, a notebook built around the way that the state defense called. Steve, you have your video of Coach Moorhead and this one to put up, and I'll have a short game story because I want to get out of here as well because I'm freezing right now in that cold press box is here. So blood's getting a little thin as I get older, and to keep hoping that, again, I've seen 2 wins on this field, but it's been a long time since, and you wonder how many shots you get another one. Alabama's playing the game at a whole different level. But the Bulldogs, they still have a chance to finish strong and still have a chance to go to a good bowl game. So this is going to be much a test of the program attitude and what a first-year coach can do to pull everybody back together. I don't think they'll have the letdown that they had last year. After they lost that game, the Bulldogs almost punched the clock the rest of the regular season. I don't think that's going to happen this time.
Well, I think you've got a head coach now, too, that's interested in staying here, and I think that played a big part in things last year. I think Joe Moorhead understands he's still got things to prove here, and where maybe somebody else didn't.
So, from Bryant-Denny Stadium, for our crew here covering the game today, Robbie Falk and Steve Robertson, this is David Murray. Final score, Mississippi State loses 24-0. The Bulldogs will pull to come out tomorrow, see how far they fall in the top 25, and, of course, the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday. And, yes, that still matters because you have that as one of the determinants in the bowl selections. So, for our crew here, good evening from Bryant Denny Stadium.